Yo, 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 what is up? It is, of course, Corey Jag and Marco back with another episode of the Dodcast. This time I know for certain ahead of time it is season 4, episode 10. We're not going to get to end on a nice round number like that. Unfortunately, you're going to have, at least number 11. It'll be 12. So, okay, not bad. That's fine. Better than it ending on 11. That would have been bothersome. Got to recap the the silver quarterfinals and, of course, the big gold finals. No special guest this week. I think we're going to do it after, for the last episode of the season. You know, finales. Finales are supposed to be big special things, so I'll save it for that. But yeah, we will recap what went down in the silver quarterfinals. There was some drama, as there always is in silver. I swear to God, those matches are always bonkers. I actually didn't get to cast the most dramatic one, which I got to tune in for the very end of it after the gold finals was over, and sweet Jesus, man. Well, just what a game that turned out to be. I'm glad Alapex was casting that at least. There was no caster on the Spicy game or the 3H no-go game. I think this weekend everything will be able to be cast, I think. Although it's going to be a little tough for me. I'm going to have to maybe, I don't know, leave really early to get back home on Sunday to do the afternoon cast, which I just realized. Anyways, okay, so get into things here right off the bat. Let's have a look-see at what went down in Silva. So, let's start off with this one because it was the most one-sided overall, I would say. No-go and 3H. So, on Lennon, 3H, 585 to 181 over no-go. I looked at these screenshots a little bit, but I didn't look too deep into them. It looks like, of course, CK had 36 on Allies, 29 on the Bear on a rifle, Austin sniping with 25, 33, it looks like, on defrag, also barring. That was kind of what I figured would be the second heavy, because I knew they were going to be missing Piff. So I wasn't sure about who their second heavy would be. I thought it would be defrag. He's got some experience doing it, and it looks like he filled in very well for 3H there. 24 on Johnny, 24 on Matt. On the no-go side, J-Rod with a 37, of course, putting up numbers. 25 on Spoon, 24 on Apple, 19 for Matthew, 16 for Dro, and 13 for Code, which is Miller, Halloran, however you'd like to remember him. Oh, that's not the other thing I'm looking for. There it is. And then in the second half, Axis side, 246 to 101 for 3H. He had 33. Oh, man, the top frag for defrag. What a boss. Playing off class on a tough heavy map. And he untered the Axis half. So 33 kills for him. He gets 66 overall. I do believe that was enough to take the top frag on CK's map. I'm sure that was a very gratifying day for defrag there. Getting called in to play as the super utility guy off class and dropping some bombs. You had 32 on Johnny with the car, 31 on Matt also heavying, 29 on the Bear going long with the Stas, 24 on CK, 23 on Austin, and on the other side, of course, Greg with a 42 on the bar, just going insane. Jesus. 22 on both Matthew and Apple, 17 apiece for J-Rod and Dedro. That was map 1, I believe, and then map 2, Harrington. And we'll see what happened here. Obviously, you can see right off the bat, 593 to 162, 3H gets the W. And yeah, let's take a look. 46 on CK, good lord. 41 on Austin as well, sniping Axis side. 38 on Modgers, going mountain with the heavy. 33 on Johnny. 22 on the Bear. 19 for defrag. Having a heavy Axis side Harrington is a pain in the dick for anybody, let alone somebody that's not a heavy. And on the no-go side, again, Greg with 33 on Allies, 28 on Matthew, 22 for J-Rod and Dedro, 24 for Miller, and 21 for Apple. 3H wins their Axis side by 41, which is, quite satisfying as an Axis side Harrington team. If you can pull off the win, you really just want to keep it, within about 120, I would say, is, usually what you're shooting for. Winning your Axis side, you're always all right, we got this thing. And as you can see, then going over to the Allies, holy fuck, CK with another 40 and Austin with another 40. These guys came to play on this map. Jesus. So CK ended up with 86 and Austin ended up with 84. What a fucking mid-team there. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, Johnny had 41 on the Garand as well. Defrag. Let me open this up in the browser to see. I can't really. It looks like a 30. Damn, it's really tough to tell. 38 or 36. It's like right on the worst spot on a mountain to cover up what the score was. But he had 30 something. That much I'm sure of. Let me just move on to the next. Gonna say 36. Now I'm gonna say 38. 32 on the Bear, 30 on Mod. I mean, everybody had 30 or more kills here on their allied side, which they won 433 to 43. And on the no-go side, Greg again with the top frag, 25, 23 on Matthew, 22 on Miller, 21 on Apple, 20 on Dedro, 19 on J-Rod. Tough way to go out for no-go. Obviously, no-go, a team that's been around forever. With very similar rosters at all times. I think it just kind of, they were having some trouble getting their roles down pat, like who wanted to play what all the time. They were swapping routes, swapping classes, stuff like that, and it just seemed like they couldn't ever really get comfortable with this lineup this season. There's a lot of ability on that lineup. We've seen no-go teams very similar to this go and make good runs in silver, so I don't think it's necessarily something where they need to make roster moves. It's more that they just need to solidify what they're going to do with their roster. Obviously, you know, if you can upgrade a spot ever, that's always nice, but I don't even think they necessarily need to. It's just that there's a lot of switching going back and forth. It's really tough to start to feel very consistent when you're swapping classes all the time. Believe me, I know I was doing it this season where I was like heavying and then I was thirding and then I was sniping and then I was rifling and then I was heavying. It's very tough to really get into a flow. Some people can do it, obviously. Like there's the PDXs and the Toxes, you know, the Franks, the Taylors, these guys, Jules. Like these guys can all just play whatever class you ask them to week in and week out and they're going to get a bunch of kills. But not everybody can do that. That is definitely the exception rather than the rule. So, unfortunate way for no-go to go out. You know, obviously this was the 1 seed versus the 8 seed here. But yeah, 3H, moving on. They continue to be the hypothetical favorite here. But, you know, getting called a favorite sometimes isn't the best thing in this division because we've seen the favorites in silver end up getting knocked out prematurely often or not quite making it. Being able to finish it off in the end. So I got to cast one map of this game. I wish I had gotten to cast Lennon. I felt like Lennon was going to be a barn burner. I already went over the rail yard matchup last week. As you can see there, 201 to 136. It was a really tight game. Spicy, we're having some trouble breaking through in the second half. And then Laura went and got a 5K at the Allied first flag, which really blew things open for them to where they got the cap they needed. And then another one. End up winning by 65. So that was how the first map went. Second map was Lennon. As you can see there, 314 to 300. Very close game. Very close game. You can imagine, I said it ahead of time, Justin is going to have 80-something kills. He did. No disappointment there, of course. Just been as consistent as it gets all season at dropping bombs. So first half, I think. No, that's second half. Okay, let me go to the first half technically then. Okay, so washed up, starting off on Allies, 192 to 166, so 26-point win. Not bad, you know, like when this map is a lot more even than it used to be. Like certainly if this was Lennon B2, you know, you wouldn't want to come out of it with only a 26-point win on your Allied side. But on this map, it can go either way, both halves. Kills 144 to 142, just so dead even. On the Spicy side, you had 32 on Die Life leading the way, 26 on Dillard, of course, the dynamic D duo there. Then Laura, 24 on the Stas, 21 apiece for Stealth and Twist, 18 for Stamp and Apartments. And then on the washed up side, 40 for PB, 24 for War Within, 23 for ProStar, 21 Hopper, 20 for Bromley, 16 for Secretly. Glad to see Secretly getting in there and playing too. I feel like he's so good at this game, and I think he's only played like 3 times this season. You know, obviously a professional. I think it was Rainbow Six player. He's just a gamer, man. But then going into the second half, so it was a 26-point lead. Spicy ends up winning the second half by 40, making that 14-point win overall. The kills again, Washed Up ends up winning the frag total by 3. So on the Spicy side, 30 for Stamp. He is very, very good, especially on Allied side in apartments on this map. I've heavied against him myself, and he's like, this is, I'd say, maybe even his best map overall. And it shows there. Top fragging on Allies, doing a good job locking down apartments, not letting ProStar, and I'm guessing Hopper was the other heavy, really get going there on the Axis side, which, it's tough to really break through for a cap out on Axis. It's harder if you don't have apartments like pretty well shut out to where you can like start cycling a car or a sniper up through to swing door, getting nades out there, getting guys going out from back cave and swing and connector and red room all at the same time. You got to kind of overwhelm there. But really, really good job there by the heavies for Spicy. You had 28 on Dillard. You had 27 on Matt, of course, just staying strong. That rifle team is so consistent. They pretty much never have bad halves. Looks like Kevin ended up dropping the sniper on long for some grenades there, which is something that I do too, especially on Allied side. He ended up with a Thompson. He has 23 kills there. Twist and Laura with 22 apiece. Yeah, it's been more and more common to see snipers on Allies like drop that sniper rifle for anything you can get your hands on. I go with the carbine just to have the second nade. Because I hate only having one nade. But the Tommy for more mobility and more reliable shooting certainly makes sense. On the washed up side, again, Justin with 42, putting up an 82 here, just doing everything he can to keep washed up alive for a third map. 29 on Bromley, 23 on Hopper, 22 for Cody and Secretly, and 17 for War Within. Not sure what the classes were for washed up outside of knowing for sure that PB was Cargaranding. I would guess that Secretly was thirding. Maybe Hopper could have thirded too. I'm guessing Hopper and ProStar were the heavies though. War Within rifling with PB, and then Bromley sniping and Secretly thirding. That's my guess. I don't know that for sure, but really, really close game. Obviously, Spicy comes out of it with the sweep, 2-0. They move on to the semifinals. We will see who they're going to play in just a moment. And yeah, tough way to go out for washed up. That team has so much talent on it. They're so good. You just look at them on paper. I mean, this is a tough way to go out. Obviously, a 14-point loss, like that hurts. That's painful. I hope that they stick together with this same kind of roster. Like, I think that team with just a little more time playing together under their belt, like the not just the ability level of all the players, but the way that they function in a team together, I think, given the time to mesh more, could be a scary, scary team next season. Okay, now, so moving on to the same side of the bracket for who Spicy Butthole will be playing in the semifinals. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. So I did get to cast this match. As you can see, Saab on Armory, 240 to 212 over Shut Up. We're trying. This game was crazy. Both games were really, really, really close here. But we'll start off with Armory. So I got into the HLTV really late because it was doing that stupid glitch where nobody can get into it, and then it shows 38 slots or something, or 138 slots instead of the 10 it actually is. So J-Rod was able to swap the Chicago HLTV in there for me. And then, yeah, this is how it went down. So, I forget what first half was. I want to say this was first half. I'm pretty sure this was first half. Okay, so, yeah, 152 to 76. This was definitely first half. So, Shut Up, we're trying. They come out, they win their Allied side, they double up in points. I missed a lot of it, but Saab did a good job fighting back at the end of this half to make it closer. This could have actually put it out of reach if they didn't get it as close as they did towards the end of this half. So on the Shut Up side, Crod, really, really good game here all around. Was just making light work of that heavy route side of the map, the box hall, whatever you want to call it. 31 kills on Allies, 27 on Aim Tech, 26 on Illusion, 23 on DB, sniping, 23 and 19. Very, very good sniper score. 22 on Nicholson, 20 on Stark. Nicholson taking the third rifle over on that box hall side. On the Saab side of things, Nightmare leading the way on the heavy, 30 kills, 30 and 26. Scotty also was going that box hall route and doing an excellent, excellent job as that rifle on that side of the map. It's a tough job to do. And he was getting, his kills were always in very timely scenarios, whether it be nade kills or car kills. It seemed like every time It looked like Shut Up We're Trying was about to maybe like put a fucking stamp on the thing, push for a cap out. Scotty was there to get a multi-kill. 26 on Yanni, 26 and 21, great half going bridge with the car. 23 on Manor, 20 on Toki, 17 on Kingyo. And then moving over to the second half, which is where it got nuts. So Shut Up is on Axis here. This came down to a last-minute cap-out. Armory plays super duper fast. We had the same thing happen in our match with Chill Pill where we had to cap out with like 15 or 10 seconds left to win by like 20 or something like that. It can get real crazy. The kills are within one of each other again. 164 to 60 on this allied side. 31 for Toki there on the sniper rifle. I do believe, did he top frag overall? Let me double check that. 55. No, Nightmare definitely top fragged overall. But I do believe I gave the MVP to Toki on this game because he was getting a lot of kills holding bridge in situations where Shut Up We're Trying very much could have capped out and put the thing out of reach. But yeah, 31 on Toki, 26 on Scotty, again going that route, which is a pain in the ass of a route. Certainly for me it was, but Scotty and Nicholson both made it look like child's play, so kudos to them. I had a real tough time heavying on that route. I guess it's because I'm not a heavy. Maybe with the rifle, I would have been able to do a little more than the, 20 total kills I got. But yeah, 25 on Nightmare, 22 on Manor, 20 on Kingyo, 19 on Yanni. He was picking up snipers a lot. Saab was trying to make sure, there was always a sniper overlooking that bridge, and it worked. It was smart. You got multiple snipers on this team. If you can find a salvage sniper rifle on the ground, you got to do it. And Yanni got a couple of timely kills holding that bridge with that sniper. I think I remember at one point, Nightmare had a sniper, Yanni had a sniper, and Toki, of course, as the sniper, had one too. And they were able to hold bridge with that crossfire. But on the Shut Up side, 27 for Illusion. He was, I think it was the first 10 minutes, he started off really hot. Things started to even out a little bit, but he was going on run after run, pushing up on bridge with the car. 26 on Aim Tech, same thing. 25 on Crowd. Like I said, he had a great game on Armory, which is a tough map to heavy. Him and Stark did a good job of keeping things relatively back and forth on the box hall side, regardless of which half they were on. 24 and 21 for Ryan, DB. Sniping. 22 on Stark, and 22 on Nicholson with the Stas. Had a lot of kills in situations where they needed to hold that flag and try to make a push. But in the end, Saab, man, they just roared back when they needed to the most. At the very, very end of the game, it was, doing math at the time, it was I think they need to cap out to win now. For a while, it looked like they could hold as long as they didn't lose either of the extended caps, the double cap or the extended single cap. But then Shut Up was able to wrestle back control. However, timely multi-kills from everybody on Saab at different times was enough to break them back through. Good nades. King Yo threw a couple of crazy nades that I didn't even know existed. There was a lot of ninja attempts that were foiled. Everything just came up Saab in the end, man. They battled back, as I've mentioned many times this season. They had a couple of very tight, heartbreaking losses to start the year off, and it just makes it easier to play these games later on when the pressure's on. You just get used to it. You know what it feels like to lose in them, so it's no longer if I lose this game, it's the end of the world. You just kind of keep playing through. You don't lose any focus. You don't start worrying. And Saab has been excellent at that in a lot of very tight games. They've shown that they can keep their composure, continue to communicate well, and make the right plays. And, a big last 30-second cap out to win the game there by 28. Went on to map 2. This map was Shut Up We're Trying's pick, I believe. Right? I believe so. So, Thunder. Thunder 2B4. So this is actually the first half screenshot. You can see there, Saab wins 70 to 28. They did bust out the secret weapon of Nightmare sniping, which is tough for anybody, man. Let me tell you. You don't have to tell me twice. Nightmare with 39 and 16 there on Axis, and I can tell you it was very, very similar on Allies. Manor with 33 there on the Unter, taking that Unter mid. Again, this has been a very good strat for everybody who deploys it. It's just a matter of if as a heavy you feel like doing it, and you can handle those like longer range battles with the Unter or the STG, whatever you want to bring. And Manor did an excellent job taking that Unter back alley and just causing hell around Susie and in Lower Church and Rubble. 21 on Scotty. Scotty, playing for the team, was the designated mid-house guy, which is important on this map. You need somebody who's always going to be paying attention and falling back and ready to break if you lose players that are pushed up to Church and Rubble. Scotty was that guy. He was hitting every shot he needed to. 21 and 17 there. JN, 19 and 18. He was doing a similar job too. Like, just they're making sure that they didn't lose mid for a stupid reason, which is something that everybody does on this map. Like, there's just times where you get a little bit out in front of yourself. You think, like, maybe we can push and get the 2 and cap out, and you just lose the whole team in an instant. Saab didn't fall into that trap here. 16 on Caleb. He was the designated bunker guy, which was also a very much a team play thing to have to do. If you're going to send that Unter mid, you're going to need somebody who at least makes sure they don't just run freely out of bunker, which is what Caleb's job was. Watching the bunker, making sure that it stays relatively clean so that you're not dealing with, like, you know, oh, these bars just walked through bunker and are at our 2. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass job to do, but he did it. And then Kingyo on 15 there with the Stas. You know, again, the super utility guy is a thankless job. You know, I've been there. You got to do everything that no one else is doing. It's tough. And on the shut up, we're trying side, everybody was very even here. Nicholson had 21, AimTech 20, Stark 20, 19 on Illusion, 18 on Crowd, 15 on DB, who had the very tough fucking job of dealing with Nightmare on this map. I've done it a million times. It sucks, man. It sucks. And Ryan did the best anybody could hope to do in this situation, let me tell you. So they won that half by 42, so it was basically like a cap out. Shut up was definitely in position where, like, you could hold mid for most of the half and get away with it. But that's easier said than done. Like, certainly this comes up a lot in debates about this map. Like, well, you could just hold mid. Yeah, you go back and watch some, like, casts and demos and tell me how often any team just holds mid for 20 minutes on this map. It never happens. You always lose mid for a little bit of time. Even NSA, playing against the teams that they've played against on Thunder, they do lose mid sometimes. Like, holding mid for 20 minutes is very difficult. It's hard to hold it for 5 minutes. So it was one of those situations where, like, yeah, they could have just held on, but that's, like, almost never going to happen. Shut Up won the kill battle this half, but obviously in the end, Saab wins the game. Nightmare 34 and 17, another 2-to-1 KD ratio, just a ridiculous sniper game overall. Scotty 24, again, second top fragger there and doing the Lord's work, defending mid from mid-house, from crack house, from wherever he could get to try to keep the mid in the hands of Saab. 21 on Manor, 16 on Yanni, 16 on Kingyo, 11 on Caleb, who again was kind of like left to be the guy holding stuff to make sure that Shut Up couldn't just slink through the back lines and potentially like get somebody in a ninja situation or be able to shoot a bunch of people in the back. Very important job on this map because we've seen it time and time again. One guy slips through the cracks, that could be game over right there. One cap out is enough usually in this game on this map. You know, Shut Up won this half by 22. They did basically everything right for the majority of the half. It's just that they weren't able to hold mid for that entire half as, you know, they needed to do. The difference was basically, I think, like 2 times or 3 times where they lost mid, and it wasn't even for that long, but it was enough that they weren't able to accrue those tick points anymore. On the Shut Up side, Illusion, really good game with 34 on the car. He was getting into Susie and getting multi-kills a lot, getting Lower Church, getting multi-kills a lot, doing everything he could to try to keep mid in the hands of Shut Up. AimTech, same thing with 25. Like, their cars came to play. They were even, I feel like they were killing Nightmare a lot too. You know, like Nightmare, I mean, as far as 17 deaths that he had, you know, like I certainly remember Illusion and AimTech doing a good job of not just like serving themselves up to Nightmare there. But then everyone else very close, 18 apiece for Stark, Crawd, and DB, and then 17 on Nicholson. In the end, Saab win that game by 20 on the dot. It was very, very close. Shut Up, I know, it was with like 6 minutes left. They had mid, and it was like, I think if they hold out here, they're good. It was very, very close to being one of those situations where they just needed to defend mid, potentially against 6 guys. There was a ninja break on a few occasions from Kingyo, I know. At one point, he was prone behind like a big dirt pile for a while, no one checked there because everyone's worried about checking Midhouse and Crackhouse and Susie and Loft. King Yo was hiding in plain sight, got a 3-kill on the mid cap to break it and take down half the team at the same time as well. He had another mid break. I know Scotty had a mid break from Crack as well. Yanni had a good ninja break. Just every time Saab did get their hands on mid in the second half too, when Shut Up was killing like most of a spawn wave, Saab was always making sure to have that guy there as an insurance policy, and it paid off with them getting the win. No map 3 necessary. Saab, the close game kings of silver so far this season, keeping that streak going, moving on to the semifinals to play against Spicy. A tough way to go out for Shut Up. I think that team easily could win silver, like in a lot. Like if you just took the whole playoffs and played it out 100 times, like I bet they would win silver just as much as everybody. They're such a strong team. They just ended up on the wrong side of Lady Luck this time. Saab have been the team of destiny in these close games ever since like week 3. Every time Saab plays a close game, they seem to be the ones coming out on the right side of it. Shut Up We're Trying has some serious ballers on that team though. Like picking up DB was a huge move for them. It immediately catapulted them to the situation where they could beat anybody. Their heavy team was strong all season long, and obviously when you got Nicholson, Illusion, and Aim Tech as your three rifles, like, you can match up with anybody else. So another team that I really hope will keep playing together, because I think that could pay off big time. Like they, heading into next season, depending on what teams stick around and everything, could be one of the favorites in the silver division. Just a tough draw for them map-wise and everything, losing by a cap out that late in the game. And then on a map like Thunder, where it's very much a coin flip a lot of the times on holding mid and stuff like that, game could have easily gone the other way on both maps, but instead Saab move on to face against Spicy in that side of the bracket. And on the other side of the bracket, we had a fucking barn burner. If you haven't watched this one already, you should. Alapex casted it. This was Romario and Insomnia. And it was bonkers. It went all 3 maps. I can tell you that much for sure, right off the bat. And I recall in the predictions saying, like, gun to my head, I don't know who the fuck I'd pick in this game. So it was Railroad 2, Lennon and Anzio. Railroad 2, I believe, was Insomnia's pick. Lennon was Romario's pick. They had beat Insomnia on Lennon earlier in the season, and then leftover map Anzio. We know what kind of history Insomnia's had on Anzio. So, I feel like this episode is going to be way longer than I thought it was going to be, because I forgot that I was, like, recapping 3 maps at a time. Although, I guess I just need to recap Gold 1 series and then do the predictions of only 2 series, so maybe it'll be fine. Anyway, starting off on Insomnia's pick, Railroad 2, 124-41, they take it. Oh man, I'm having some trouble seeing these screenshots a little bit here too. So it looks like 39 for Riv on Allies with that bar. Of course, he's so good at barring apartments on this map. Always has been. You can go back as many years as you'd like, and Rib is dropping bombs on Allied Side Apartments Railroad 2. You had 29 on Sean with the Garand, 26 on Pibian, 29 on 9 as well. Both the bars strong halves there. 20 on Corey, who got in this week, which I love to see. And then 19 for Nick, Head Like a Hole. This is such a good lineup here for Insomnia. They have basically 3 guys to go into 2 spots, and you can kind of pick and choose who's going to go in there week in and week out. Corey Price is such an explosive impact player. Like when he's going, he will go on these like crazy 10K runs where he's just hitting every shot and you'll never get him out of there. It's just one of those things that is very valuable to have, especially in these playoff scenarios where a lot of times it just comes down to which guy on which team comes up with that big 4K, 5K, whatever to crack things open. So then on Romario's side, 28 on Rafinha, 27 on Man, 23 on Vanna Key, 21 on Burn, of course, in Train Car. I know I caught the beginning of this game and saw him get out of train like multiple times and get 3 kills. 16 on Zaps, Matt with 13. Again, it's not the worst pick for Romario to end up on Railroad 2 ever, because they have some really good Railroad 2 players, especially Burn, who's like a Railroad 2 train car specialist. But Insomnia was able to pull it out here, so they won this half 40-36, so that was a very close half. It looks like they won their Allied side by something to 1. So, no, that's not right. Oh, no, they lost their Axis side 40 to 36. Okay. So 36, 124. You're looking at, Jesus, 88? 88 to 1? Okay. So the 88 to 1 was Insomnia winning their allied side. Their Axis side, Romario able to win this half, but obviously lose the map overall. On Insomnia, Sean with the car, 34 kills. Pibian, who is such a good sniper, 35 kills, top fragging for them there. Maybe even top fragging overall. No, I think Sean would have been the top fragger. Oh no, Riv was. Riv with 27 on the STG again. Another strong half for him. 25 on Corey, 23 on 9, and Head Like a Hole going train with 9 against Burn. Burn had 26 kills, as you can see over there. I need to open this up in the browser to see the allied screenshot here. Okay, so on Romario's side, 32 for Mand. Just been so good all season again. 26 on Burn, 27 on Rafinha, 19 for Zaps, 16 for Matt and Vanaki. Overall, just a really strong performance here from Insomnia on a map that really, you look at it leading into that game, you're going to say, like, this could go either way. We've seen Romario be really good at Railroad 2, and Insomnia obviously having just lost their last Railroad 2 game in a crazy one against Shut Up We're Trying, but they came back, they looked good, they were able to close it out here on Railroad 2, 124 to 41. So then it went to Romario's map pick. They already had the season series on this map, 1-0. They won the Lennon game. I forget the score of that one. I could look it up, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so this one ends up being 396 to 385, an 11-point win for Romario, and you're thinking, wow, what a close game. That must have been crazy. It's crazier than that. I do believe Romario got a full cap with, like, barely any time left to cap out and get that 11-point win. Man, you know, the dramatics. Romario is another team that they went through this before where they were losing the close games a lot, and now they're at that point where they don't feel any anxiety or any panic when they get in those back against the wall, like we need to cap out or they need to cap out situations. You know, they are very well seasoned in these clutch scenarios. So 180 to 179, Insomnia's Axis half. Kills identical. 146 to 146, as you can see, the deaths, if you were to use that tiebreaker, Insomnia had one more death. So maybe some TKs, some suicide nades, some craters, whatever. On the Insomnia side, 34 for Sean on the car, 27 for Pibian, sniping long, nicely done, 26 for Corey, 24 for 9, 21 for Rib, 14 for Head Like a Hole. Looks like Apartments was just an all-out war here. On the Romario side, Rafinha, as always, so good. 36 with the Garand, 35 on Vanaki. Barring Apartments, he has historically been amazing at heavying on this map. 23 on Mand, still going positive, long on this map against a tough sniper in Pibian. 21 for Burn, also going long. 16 for Zaps, 15 for LZL. I'm guessing Burn was going long. I don't know, LZL has gone long in the past too, so it could have gone either way. I'm just assuming Burn would go long based on where he's gone in the past when I've casted their Lennon matches. So a 1-point win there for Insomnia on their Axis side. I wonder if I could pull up the clip. I was looking at it at some point. Zippel, oh shit. Let me see. There is a clip of this that I feel like I should play. Just for good measure, because I might be, you know, explaining it poorly or whatever here.
Man,
Video.
really
Oh my god, it's so loud. Oh, my bad. Okay, this is it. I got the clip. I got the clip. Let me turn it down, though. I'm an idiot. Okay, so let me pull open this window just to show everybody how this game went down in the end. Where is it? We're going to a game 3. There it is.
It's the kill. We have River Oyster trying to kill Man. He does from that.
As you can see, 1:05 left there. Rafinha gets the frag.
That's it!
And that's mid.
That's a cap out! That's a cap out for 11! They are now up!
1 minute left.
196. There is 58 seconds left! That was it!
Every tick of that clock there is just killing Insomnia too. So up by 15? Yep. Up by 15. I mean, there's pretty much no way to get that one. When all is said and done for Insomnia, it's over. They would have needed to cap out at that point, I believe, which they obviously weren't able to do so. Dramatic finish, needless to say there. Big, big W when all is said and done for the boys of Romario and Map 2. Just to look at the screenshots once again, 31 for Man, 28 for Vanaki, 29 for Rafinha, 24 for LZL, 17 for Zaps, 15 for Burn, and on the Insomnia side, top fragger is 9 with 33, followed closely by his heavy partner Riv, 32, 30 on Pibian, great sniper half again, 29 on Corey, 27 on Sean, 15 on Head Like a Hole. They won by 12 points in that half, and that last-minute cap-out was the difference maker when all was said and done. So, we went to a map 3, Anzio. We've seen the dramatics on this map already this season, specifically with Insomnia. As we saw 3H, who had, like a 4-cap lead with about 6 minutes left on this map, and Insomnia executed full cap.cfg, brought that sumbitch back and capped out as time expired to win that game in absolutely absurd fashion. Maybe the most ridiculous comeback I've ever seen in DoD, I would say, when it comes down to how improbable it looked, and then getting the cap out as late as they did, just nuts. So, 236 to 189. Insomnia wins their allied side of Anzio here. I did catch the end of this game. So, on the Romario side, 35 for Rafinha, man. Just been lights out. There's a reason that a lot of people call him PDX Jr. He's putting up PDX numbers all the damn time. He's so fucking good. And then the other guy who has been a standout player for this team every season of the game, Vanaki, 32 on the Stas, 25 on LZL, 21 on Mand, always doing a good job sniping, staying positive, staying good defensively, not letting anything get out of hand for his team. 25 on LZL, 15 on Burn, 11 on Zaps, and on the Insomnia side, 26 on Riv, 24 apiece for 9 in Pibian, 23 for Sean, 17 for Head Like a Hole, and 14 for Corey. And then we went to that second half, and boy, it was dramatic once again, 187 to 116. You know, Insomnia, every time it looked like they were breaking through and were going to be able to get whichever double cap they needed to go push for that full cap that they did need when all was said and done, obviously. You know, a 24-point loss. It's a 6. Actually, so they didn't need a full cap necessarily. If they had got both double caps with like 6 minutes left or something and been able to just keep the pressure on for the most part, they would have been okay. I think it was about 6. I don't know. I'm not doing the math in my head right now, but roughly. Mand, I think, was the big difference maker here, too. Defending Plaza and Church Tower just did an excellent job. Every time Insomnia was getting the kills on everybody else, Mand was there defending and not missing shots, man. He was lights out for them in this half. 32 and 17 for him. 30 and 27 for LZL. His strongest half of the series came when they needed it absolutely most there. As always, LZL comes up big in the biggest moments. 26 for Vanaki, 24 for Rafinha, 15 on Burn, and 14 on Zaps. On the Insomnia side, 9 with 28, 26 on Pibian, 26 on Sean, 22 on Corey, 14 on Riv, 13 on Head Like a Hole, and a heartbreaking end to the season for Insomnia. Obviously, a lot of people looked at them to be the team to beat along with 3H. They were in the first seed for the majority of the season. They had a rough couple of games after that big comeback win against 3H. And then, I mean, obviously we're in the playoffs. Everybody's ridiculous at this point. But Romario, man, like that team is a different team in the playoffs too. Like they're tough enough to beat as it is, but for some reason they just kick it up another gear when the pressure is on every time. And they're looking to try to make their way to back-to-back championships, one in bronze, one in silver. You know, and here they are. They're taking the big first step in doing so, taking out, you know, I mean, I would say probably favored overall Insomnia. But, you know, you couldn't have said that much of a favorite because Romario is a ridiculously good team as well. And a team. Like, these guys have played together for a while. They scrim together. They go over demos together. They are committed as a team. And it shows in the results. You know, they put in the work. They put in the time. Here they are going to the semifinals. They do have a tough draw of 3H. But nothing is impossible for this team, let me tell you. It's going to be a very interesting series, I think, between those two teams. 3H needs to have their shit together for that one, because if you go into that series taking them even a little bit lightly, they are going to shove a fist up your butt and spin you around on it like a fresh-baked pizza that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just got out of the oven. Just whoosh. I don't know. It's a poor analogy. Don't mind me. Like a basketball. That was the better one. Like a basketball. So, just to recap, all the silver things done. Spicy moves on to the semis. They will be playing against Saab, who won their game. 3H wins their game, and Romario wins their game. Moving on to face each other there, too. In the gold finals, NSA versus Icy Hot. This was a big one. This was the heavyweight battle everyone came to see. I'm pretty sure I predicted this in the first Dodcast of the season, like leading into it, maybe even before that. It's just, they were clearly the two strongest teams this time around. So we had a draw of Harrington, Railroad 2, Anzio. Starting off on Harrington. Is this the first half or the second half? Okay, so this is first half. 339 to 225. NSA takes Harrington. To be honest, Icy Hot was able to hang with NSA on this map better than anybody else has been able to overall. They are so good at this map. Like, every one of their players excel on this map. And the way that they play it, the way that they work together as a team and in rotation is just so tough to deal with. Icy Hot did a really good job of managing that. It just, it just ended up getting too close for comfort at times. Obviously, you can see there, NSA wins their Axis side as well by 1 point. It was just, every time Icy Hot looked like they were going to maybe get that cap out and break through and start the ball rolling back down the hill, somebody was there for NSA to just blow it up in their faces. Usually PDX, who had an insane 1 versus 3 clutch on Axis side in Upper Mountain House. There was a guy coming from Mountain Steps, and there was I think it was 2 guys coming Mountain Steps, 1 guy coming from L Hall. Car kill, pistol headshot, car kill, lights out. Just every time Icy Hot was just about to break through where they needed to, it couldn't happen. And that's the thing. It's really tough to cap on NSA. They are very good at covering the holes, not making mistakes, throwing very good nades. The PDX special is called that for a reason. So just looking at the scores, 177 to 64. Not a bad Axis half for Icy Hot. They probably felt pretty good about this Axis half. Losing by 113, not bad at all. You just got to be all out committed to getting the caps you need on Allied side, which is tough to do against NSA. They're so good defensively. A huge game here for Vertex, of course, as always. I think this maybe is his best map. 42 kills on the car. Him and PDX were going shot for shot with each other this entire game, it seemed like. Justin on the sniper, 33 kills on Axis side is tough to do, especially against NSA. So that's a very good half on the sniper rifle for him on Axis. 30 for Jesse on the Stas. 6 Stas. Jesse was on the other car. William was on the Stas. William had 24. 20 for Tony, 16 for Bees, and on the NSA side of things, 39 for PDX. As I said, him and Casey were just going shot for shot, it seemed like. 32 on Taylor, 30 on Leo, 29 on Milo, 26 on Debo, 24 for Nick, making sure that shit didn't get out of hand in middle, always slick Nick. I mean, it's really tough to get him out of mid for anybody, honestly. I've tried to do it a million times. You kind of got to hit the shot of your life. So even if you do the crazy task of killing Leo, Taylor, PDX, Debo, and Milo, you then have to deal with Nick in mid, who's not going to miss all that often. It's tough to deal with, especially on Allied side of this map. But 113-point lead for NSA after their first half. Not too shabby. Certainly not insurmountable for Icy Hot. But went into the second half, a 1-point victory on their Axis side for NSA to close it out. Vertex with 38. He ended up with 80 kills. I believe PDX one-upped him by 1. I think he had 81. We'll see. So 27 on Jesse, 26 on Tony, 25 on Justin, 26 on William as well, and 22 on Mitch. And then on the other side, you had 42 on PDX, as I said, so he did it up with 81, 31 on Debo, 29 on Leo, 25 on Nick, 24 on Milo, 22 on Taylor, just pretty well even across the board outside of PDX with that 42. That's what you get with NSA, you know, like they're all going to have good halves 99% of the time. There's never going to be a hole. There's never going to be anything you can try to take advantage of on the map. They're going to all be good. And that's very difficult to deal with, you know? Very rarely has there been like a team in DoD that you could look at as being kind of like perfect in regards to what they have throughout the map on any given route at any given time. You know, with this team, what if you had to with your life on the line, you're like, who are you got to send somebody against one of these guys on a route. Where are you going to feel like you're really heavily favored? There's nothing. You know, there's no holes. And Icy Hot, to have put up the effort they did here, is honestly fucking impressive. Like, especially on Harrington, which is a map that NSA is the king of, like, flat out. I don't see how anybody beats them on this map, period. You know, we've scrimmed against them a million times. Don't think we've ever beat them. Maybe we've had some close games with them, but I'm 99% sure we'd never beat them on Harrington in a scrim even. So NSA wins map 1 by, 114. Not bad, though. Not bad if you're Icy Hot. Obviously, it's a shitty consolation prize to end up with. Like, hey, we had a close game. It's the finals. It sucks, but, you know, I mean, NSA was the wire-to-wire favorite here. They are built to win. So then it goes to map 2. This was Icy Hot's pick. As you can see there, 230 to 29 for NSA. They just came out firing on all cylinders here. 79 to 3, they won their allied side. Kills were closer, 155 to 149 for Icy Hot. Jesse had a great game in apartments here. He had 32 kills on Axis, 29 on Bs as well. He's always all over the place on this map, like just going off for 3, 4, 8 at one point kills at a time in this game. Casey, who started off 7-0 again, both games against NSA on this map on Axis side, he's just come out of the gate fucking booming, going 7-0 there. They were able to slow him down in the end. He gets 28, 25 on William, 19 on Tony, and Justin with 16. I swear to God, I've had this exact half that Justin had. When you're sniping on Axis side of this map, there's times where it just feels like everywhere you go, you're like walking into a grenade or a wall shot. You turn your back on something and then someone peeks there. Someone's shooting at someone else and you're getting killed. Every time you go to peek something, like, oh my God, I was looking at the wrong spot. It's just one of those halves that I certainly have had sniping Axis side of that map before. Like, I felt for him every time I watched him die. Because it was always just the most ridiculous random scenario. Like, oh, he'd spawn, he'd walk off sandbag spawn, boom, a nade would blow up in his face that nobody knew was coming. He'd respawn, he'd go out 4-way, boom, a nade would blow up in his face. Respawn, go out sandbag, peek a guy, do 90 damage to him, die to another guy. Like, it was just one of those games. On the NSA side, Leo with the top frag, so good at this map, especially on allies. 34 kills for him, 26 for both Nick and Milo, 24 for PDX, 24 for Debo, and 21 for Taylor. So a 76-point lead they had after their allied side. Their Axis side, they just came out flying once again. On the Icy Hot side, I don't remember what Tony had. I think he had like 25 kills or something like that, like 25 and 27. Something along those lines. Maybe like 24. I forget. I'm sure that it's in the stats. As you can see in the screenshot there, that was one of the suspensions that ended up happening. Just so that I'm not being accused of covering anything up, there were 3 suspensions given out, which obviously a tough situation for both the teams and the admins. You know, like Moss is kind of a finicky program, and Nick and Milo didn't have their Moss for the second map. They went to restart it after the first map, and it fucked up. I mean, we've all seen Moss fuck around and stuff. I'm sure for the admins this was a nightmare because, like, you know, on one side, like, you could say, like, well, you got to play the third map. But, I mean, would Ice Scout really want that even? Like, potentially going in and playing a third map and NSA is missing 2 people. Like, it would just feel hollow, I would think, at that point if they won that game. But, yeah, you know, suspensions given out and stuff. But, yeah, so back to the scores that everybody had. Mitch with 29 on allies. He had a crazy, like 9 or 10 kill streak When the game, like, by the end of the game, like, it had gotten out of hand, but at this point, like, Bees was really trying to get them back into this game, and he just about did with the streak that he went on with a bar. I'm pretty sure it was all with the bar. I forget if he picked up a car or anything, but he definitely had like 9 kills running through apartments, sandbag, 4-way, A-Hall, just killing 3 or 4 at a time over and over again, looking like a god. 27 on Jesse. As I said, he had a great game overall here. 23 apiece for William and Justin, and 21 for Casey. And then on the other side, you had 36 on PDX. Again, finishing the season right where he started it at the top of the game. 36 and 23 there, going underpass. I have so much PTSD when it comes to PDX and underpass on Railroad 2. In Season 1, he was just dominating us. Like, every time we went for mid, PDX was there, Johnny on the spot, breaking mid, killing 4 of us. Going back to that route here, he goes 36 and 23, doing very much the same thing. Nick with 33 and 25 here. Yeah, I mean, again, it's Nick. You expect when he gets to take shots, he will hit them. It just comes down to how many kills are left on the table for the sniper to get after you deal with the whole rest of the team, you know? 27 on Debo, 24 for both Leo and for Taylor, and 23 on Milo. Big win here. NSA are your Season 4 gold champs when all is said and done, as expected. I mean, this team is crazy, just top to bottom, and they still have like multiple people in their backups that they could just slot them in and be just fine. You know, do the exact same thing. It's nuts. They're just a powerhouse of a team that everybody is going to have to try to climb the mountain to deal with now. You know, that is the goal. That's what makes competitive anything fun, is when you have the best of the best that you can try to measure yourself up against and try to see if you can overtake them. Like, that's where the fun comes in, I feel like. It's also fun being that team too, certainly, where it's like, you know, everyone's gunning for you as well. So it's a good thing for DoD all around, having that parity. And now we'll see if they can go and do it back-to-back next season. Icy Hat, I'm sure, will be back and trying to gun for them once again. Hopefully Thunder will be doing the same, and everyone else in the gold division just putting in the hours to try to dethrone what is, you know, one of the best fucking pound-for-pound teams DoD's ever seen. Just so much talent here. And the thing is, you can make an all-star team, but the pieces have to play as a team. They have to be able to play their roles. You can't just have everyone going out there running around trying to get 40 kills a half. That's where those all-star type teams usually fall by the wayside. In this case, NSA has everybody committed to playing their roles, being in their spots where they're needed, rotating around, helping each other out, and paying off, you know, just all the talent that they have within that roster. So next season, it will be fun to see them defend that championship. You know, no reason for Iceat to hang their head. They gave these guys as much of a challenge as anybody could have. You know, Thunder could not have done any better than this. We would have gotten wrecked even worse, as would have anybody else. Like, Iceat was clearly the second best team here. And again, it's a team. They just got to keep playing together, keep putting in the time, improving where they can, and see if they can climb that mountain once again next season, where NSA will be waiting and just dumping on down the mountain in everybody's face. Like, I can assure you, they will be dumping down that mountain, and we will all be faced full of poop. So, now we can predict the silver semifinals? Semifinals, yes. I should check if the veto went through. Veto. Okay, there we go. We've got the veto here. So, 3H, bans Armory, Romario, bans Rail Yard. 3H, bans Zanzio, Romario, bans Railroad 2. We end up with Lennon, Thunder, and then Harrington. Okay, that's actually a pretty good veto, I think, for both teams. Obviously, we just saw Romario wins Lennon against Insomnia in a crazy game. We know 3H loves to play Lennon, every one of them. And then Harrington, it's Harrington. It's a fucking chaos fest. I think both teams will thrive in that. Still working on scheduling. And then on the other side, we have Spicy and Saab. Saab bans Railyard. Spicy bans Harrington. Saab bans Armory. Spicy bans Lennon. Saab picks Anzio. Spicy picks Railroad 2. And a Thunder decider. Oh my god. I hope that goes to a map 3. A map 3 on Thunder would be so fucking tense. Wow. Okay, so that's another one that I think, it's pretty good for both teams. Like, both teams are strong Anzio teams and individually players. Railroad 2, same thing. And then Thunder, I don't know how much I've gotten to see Spicy play Thunder. But just based on who they have on the team, like, I think they're probably a good Thunder team as well. Okay, so let me swap over to look just at. I mean, I can go look at the rosters. We all know who's on the teams, I guess, but we might as well. Okay. Boom. There we go. All right. So we'll start off with Spicy and Sob. For Spicy, you know what you're going to get. You got Laura, Stealth, Twist, Stamp, Dillard, and Die Life with a couple good reliable backups if they're missing anybody. And then on the sub side of things, you've got Scotty, Manor, Toki, Yanni, Nightmare, Kingyo, and Caleb. Usually, he's got like certain maps that they use him on, and then he's obviously there if somebody's missing. Will be interesting to see. Is Saab going to deploy Nightmare as a sniper right off the bat? Just put him out there to try to lock shit down from the beginning. He's been excellent on the heavy as well. And Toki's been doing really, really, really well with the sniper this season. Like, they're not losing out on that much by having things the opposite direction. Obviously, Nightmare, pretty much the consensus best sniper in the game, so it's like, it's tough to not put him on that. But he has been very good on the heavies regardless, and so has Toki been on the sniper. Okay, so, God, how long has this been? 56 minutes. I'm under an hour still. I'll take it. Alright, so it is Anzio, Railroad 2, Thunder. Alright. Anzio, Sob, and Spicy. I mean, I can tell you, looking at the Spicy side of things, obviously here on Anzio, Stealth, going to be good. Die Life, been a great bridge rifle forever. Same with Luke on Allies, and he usually goes double windows on Axis. He is excellent going that route. The heavy team working very well together, and Laura as that swing super utility, another map that she's been good at for a long, long time. On the Saab side of things, assuming that Nightmare's sniping here, right? So you have Nightmare going bridge on Axis, Plaza on Allies, trying to lock shit down. Which I think, it works out pretty well overall. Scotty going double windows, another very good double windows car. Manor loves Anzio, very good at it. And then assuming he's heavying with, I guess, would it be Toki at that point if we're assuming Nightmare's sniping? And then Yanni carring bridge along with Kingyo on the Stas. Okay, and then what was map 2 again? Railroad 2, okay. Okay, interesting. So you'd have Stealth against Nightmare there, which is another just crazy sniper matchup. In Train, it would, I guess, be Twist against Yanni? Or would it be Toki? I know Yanni has rifled in Train, like specifically card in Train on Rail Yard. Not sure if they do that again here or not. And then King Yo would be going long up against potentially Die Life. If Die Life doesn't car bar, actually Die Life would probably car bar on this map, right? Because Twist is going Train. So it'd be Laura on long. Laura versus King Yo, and then Apartments on Allies for, actually it might be for both halves of Jared and Matt versus Manor and, would it be Scott? No, Scotty goes 4-way, so probably JN. It'd be Yanni and Manor, I think, in Apartments, which is a fun matchup there. And then Scotty in 4-way and Luke in Ticket, I would think. Yeah, I think so. I think that covers it. A lot of fun matchups there, too. And then Thunder is an all-out fucking free-for-all. I do think this will go 3 maps. I'm going to say that I think that the teams are going to win their picks. Certainly, either team is very capable of stealing the other one's pick just based on the players they have. Like, players who are very strong on these maps and can easily swing a map back in the other direction. If Nightmare can't really get going and have, like, one of his usual games where he's, like, 40 and 10 both halves, That's where you see Spicy be able to find a lane to win there. You're going to have to deal with him in Meat Locker on Axis. So I think the heavies for Spicy are going to be key to making him, even if you're not killing him, just making him uncomfortable, like trying to make him feel that threat, like he can't stay looking at bridge because he might be getting shot from Meat Locker. Street is so important on this map, and I think a lot of teams just kind of lose track of that because it's one flag, it's an instant cap. There's double caps on both sides of it. I think Street is always so important. You have a throughway straight to both double caps from there. You can get into the sewers and go up in a church tower, go out to bridge. Millions of reasons why Street is so important and why you see all the best teams like put an emphasis on Street. I think that's how one of the main reasons, at least, that Spicy could find a way to swing Anzio in their favor. And then, of course, like the rifles, they have such good rifles. Like, you could just see them go out there and do what they do a lot of the time, where they both get 40 kills a half, and it's just impossible to deal with that. On Railroad 2, kind of the same thing, where it's Nightmare would be the big X factor. If he can just lock that map down, like, it's tough to deal with that. If Nightmare is just out there and you can't kill him and he's putting up a 4-to-1 KD ratio, you can't get by balcony, your sniper can't help out 4-way, you can't go up white steps, like there's nowhere to get into mid outside of Ticket, and like obviously Nightmare's doing a bunch of killing there, but you still got 5 other people that can be dealing with Ticket. So in this hypothetical where it's possible to steal those map choices for the teams, and then Thunder, I mean, I think with Thunder, a lot of it will come down to strategy and execution of it. Is either team going to go flooding mid, putting one of the heavies on an Unter maybe, the way we've seen Manor and Caffrey do, to great success, mind you. I assume Saab will do that with Manor once again. You could see Spicy do it with Stamp as well. And then at the execution of it, like getting mid is one thing. You have to hold mid. You have to hold mid. I know it's tough sometimes to just be the guy that holds in mid house and like doesn't go running straight forward to go for a cap out. But assuming this is the third map of a best of 3 series, someone's going to have to do it. That's going to be the key for both teams. We already just saw that Scotty and Yanni both were more than willing to do that, like, to get their kills by defending that mid flag when they've got it. It'll be interesting to see. You could even see something like a mid flood on Allied side out of Spicy. Have Stamp bar back alley. Barring back alley is something that teams used to do a lot, and you just don't see it that much anymore. But with the way those angles work, if the Axis team isn't using their nades to get out of those corners, like a bar pre-firing in that spot can be very, very deadly and near impossible to deal with for a rifle who has to run through like 4 bar bullets just to be able to get a shot off. This is tough. This is really tough. And obviously, of course, on Thunder, the sniper matchup is very key. Stealth versus Nightmare. If Stealth can keep Nightmare off his rhythm, keep him uncomfortable, kill him like as much as he's being killed by him, that gives Spicy Butthole a better chance to win Thunder. Easier said than done, take it from me, having had to snipe against Nightmare like 9 times in matches in the last year and a half or whatever. Very much easier said than done, but certainly if anyone's up to the task, it's Kevin. Who wins that game? Because I'm assuming the teams win their map picks. I could see that happening very easily. Man. I hate when these games are clearly going to be this close because I want to be right about my predictions when I make them, even though no one's keeping track of it, it's fun to be right. Especially when you go with when you're not saying what everybody else pretty much is saying about it. It's always fun to be able to guess the underdog and feel confident in it and have a reason for it and be correct. I don't know that there's really an underdog in this game. Both these teams are stacked to the tits. They're both really good at all 3 maps, and everybody's been performing across both those rosters. I'm gonna go with... I'm gonna go with Saab by 2 points. Because Saab has been winning all these close games. But, I mean, I could also very easily see Spicy just sweep this thing. I could see them stealing Anzio without a doubt. I'm going to just go with Saab because they are the hottest team in the division right now. They haven't lost in ages. I think since week 3. They have peaked at the best possible time. Now they're using Nightmare as a sniper as well in this hypothetical. I'm just assuming. And that's tough for anyone to deal with. It was tough for everyone in gold to deal with for 3 seasons too. It's just a lot to ask dealing with a sniper that's that good, and especially on a map like Thunder as the rubber match, a map that he excels on in particular, very, very much so. I think it'll be a single-digit game. I think you could see all 3 maps be within 1 cap out of each other, so 60, 40, and 40, the points that a cap out is worth on each map, but I'm going to go with the hot hand right now. That's so tough to say, though, because, again, I could just as easily see a scenario where Spicy actually just sweeps this thing, like 100%. Like that, we could be back here in a week like Spicy won 2-0, like, yeah, they didn't even have to sweat it out. There's just as much of a chance of that happening. This is a coin flip again. We're in the semifinals. Of course it is. Moving on to the other one. Like I said, I think Saab 2-1 in 3 very closely contested games. Okay, so on the other side, we had 3H versus Romario. This is a crazy one as well. Like, I think this one is going to be very stressful to watch and to cast for I think Alapex is casting this one. So, as I said, 3H bans Armory, Romario bans Railyard, 3H bans Anzio, Romario bans Railroad 2. Romario getting rid of those railroads. They obviously beat 3H on Railyard in the beginning of the season, but 3H did have Jane playing in that one, going train against Burn in her first ever KTP match, so I think Romario looked at that win and was kind of like, we're not going to put any stock into that here. We're going to just get rid of these maps right off the bat. 3H picks Lennon, which is a good pick for both teams. We just saw Romario able to beat Insomnia on it twice this season. Romario picks Thunder. Again, a good map for them. Their rifles are so fucking good. And Mand is such a good sniper. And then Harrington, the chaos of that map, I think is good for both teams. So, looking at the lineups, I'm not positive what Romario busts out, because I mean, obviously Burn, when there's railroad maps in there, you assume he's going to play. Is he hypothetically going to play again this time, or does Lobaton get in there? I don't know. I'm just going to assume that Burn was mainly playing in railroad situations, and that it'll be Lobaton, Vanaki, Zaps, Matt, LZL. Oh, wait, no. Lobaton, Vanaki, Matt, LZL, Man, Rafinha. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense for this game. I could be wrong. And then on the 3H side, of course, I believe Piff is back this week, so you'll have Modgers and Piff heavying. You'll have CK, Warchild, and Defrag on the rifles, and you'll have Austin on the sniper rifle. I mean, it's a really good fucking team. Certainly anybody could argue that they were like this close to being a gold team. I know we've all said it before. It's just one of those things where whatever happens, the admins vote and stuff. 3H ends up in silver as the favorite here. It's tough. I would hate to be in that situation. I mean, I was in the first couple of seasons where you had to decide who was going to be in which division. Thing is, 3H has lost a couple maps this season still, so it's anybody's game at this point. It's anybody's game. All right. So, map 1, Lennon. Hoy, yoy, yoy. This is a tough one. God damn. So, I mean, I'm inclined to go with 3H here. I mean, let's just look at what they did on Lennon here. He had 1 million kills for, like, everybody. Just a very elementary win for them on Lennon there. You know CK. I mean, CK only getting 24 kills on an Axis half of Lennon is so rare. He's due to get like 45 or more kills this time on Axis half, which is not good for Romario. However, I mean, again, this is one of those games. You have Romario on Lennon with Vanaki and Rafinha just being insane. You know, like they can easily, and that can get frustrating for a team that's favored and has been the 1 seed and everybody's picked to win. If they go out there and suddenly you got Rafinha and Vanek and everybody else kind of like going off and not letting you get going, mentally that can be tough to overcome. I think that's where Romario could steal Lennon just by their big guns going out there and laying the smack down, keeping CK off his rhythm, not letting CK go off and get a million nade kills, like that's usually where he's getting like half his kills on this map because it's a nade fest. Johnny and CK is a really fucking good well team, but Rafinha and LZL is too. Man, I don't know. That's a real heavyweight battle. I'm gonna take 3H to win Lennon by. It's 2 double caps, so it's 60-point caps. Let's say 43. 3H wins Lennon. Okay. And then map 2. Map 2. Where is the section I'm looking for? Match alerts. Map 2. Okay. Thunder. Okay, so this one's a little bit more dicey, I think, for 3H here. I think Romario's going to win this game. Romario is good at this map. They're very good at this map. They always have been. Obviously, Austin versus Man is a great sniper battle. There's no doubt about that. That could go either direction and will be a key crux of this matchup. However, 3H had a lot of problems on Thunder in their match this season. They actually only won due to a CK Ninja Cap. I should be able to grab the screenshots from that actually and just pull them up here real quick. Where's the Thunder week? Week 3, was it? Week 3, there it is. Okay. Where is it? 3H Saab, that's who it was. It was another close Saab loss. So, obviously not their exact starting lineup here for 3H. So they're missing Defrag and they're missing Johnny. Of course, the Bear replacing either one of them, very good. Big Bird had himself a fine game replacing there, but you put in Johnny and you put in Defrag there. It's a different story. They still had a lot of trouble though. Like I remember in this game, they were getting mid and then kind of like losing it like that. So I think Romario will take this game. I think it'll be by like 18 points. I think that Rafinha and Man will be the big keys there, and the bunker side. Bunker, everyone hates Bunker, and I get it because it sucks. Bunker is just a shitty thing on Donner, on Thunder, on any of those versions of that map. But Bunker can be a very useful tool if you can apply it properly. Certainly mid-alley especially, which you see in teams like NSA. Like, everyone should just watch how NSA plays most maps, and you can learn a lot about like where you need to be applying pressure and when and why and stuff like that. And NSA very, very exemplary at the way that they play Thunder, and in particular the way that they utilize Bunker on Thunder. They, instead of just being like Bunker sucks, they're like, hey, Bunker is another tool that we can use to our advantage, and they make use of it. So I'm just going to assume it goes to a third map. Harrington is where I feel like 3H probably pulls away a little bit, though. Here's the thing. Romario is very good at Harrington too, and they've won a lot of big matches on it over the years, but there's a lot of Harrington specialists on 3H. Guys who love Harrington, who perform on Harrington no matter what. Just look at these screenshots right here. 46 on CK, 41 on Austin, 38 on Modgers, 33 on Warchild. That's on their Axis side. Austin sniping with 43 kills. And then on their allied side, 43 on Austin, 40 on CK, 38 on Defrag, 41 on Warchild, 32 on the Bear, 30 on Modgers. Like, these guys love Harrington. And then if you look at Romario's Harrington history from this season, let me grab it. I forget who they played against on Harrington now, though. No, it wasn't Saab. Week 1, was it? Did they have a bye? They might have had a bye on Harrington, actually. No, Railyard is week 1. Harrington is week 2. There we go. Romario. They lost to Shut Up, We're Trying. That's what it was. Okay. So yeah, not the best track record, but they also have won some tough games on this map. But I do think 3H takes it when all is said and done on Harrington. I just think that the play styles work out a little bit more for 3H here, and that when you got someone like CK on a map that nades are like the most important thing by a lot, and you've got CK on your side throwing those nades. Now, the thing is, it's not like Romario doesn't have good naders and know all the nades. It's just that CK, his nades seem to be more nuclear than a lot of people's. Not everyone's. Don't at me. We know team owner and PDX. I still love you though, Corey. You just get too many suicide nades. If you could just eke out those suicide nades, then maybe you jump the queue here up to number 1 again. But still, CK is a nuclear grenader. Harrington nades are so important. I think 3H is going to be able to take Harrington. I think it'll be by like 67 points, like a cap and a half. But again, this is like another coin flip of a series. You could see Romario just take both first 2 maps. Honest to God, like that could very easily happen. But I'm going with 3H and I'm going with Saab. I think that'll be the finals here. And because I've said that now, the finals are going to be Spicy versus Romario in a rematch of bronze finals from last season, which would be poetic too. Like that would be an awesome story to have the 2 teams from the lower division come up to the next division up, have improved enough that they make their way all the way through to the finals of the next division up back-to-back seasons. That would be awesome in and of itself. So it's a win-win for the DoD community, whatever happens here. I'm taking 3H versus Saab. I think everybody probably has different opinions across the board of who it'll be and how and why. It'll just be fun for us to all watch. I know I'm supposed to cast the 3 o'clock game. It's going to be so dicey for me. I'm going to be making just an absurd amount of drive in the time between the next 3 days here. So hopefully it doesn't end up being a problem. Either way, I know that there will be people to cast both of these games, and then the finals, we'll probably just have everybody cast it together in one way or another. So good luck to all 4 teams this week. Good season to the teams that got eliminated. Be here Sunday, certainly for the Saab Spicy game. Not sure about 3H versus Romario yet. They're still working on scheduling. Congratulations to NSA, a very, very well-deserved gold championship to them. Wire-to-wire perfect season, the first time that has happened in KTP Gold. PDX, wire-to-wire MVP as well. Easily the MVP of the regular season and was definitely my pick for MVP of the finals. 81 kills, and then I think he top fragged on Railroad 2 as well. So, great season by them. I love to see it, I am a DoD fan, first and foremost, which is why I like casting so much, and even when I, have a match to play, I'm not like, I'm not going to cast right before my match. I'm like, no, this is a good match. I want to cast it. Because above and beyond all else, to me, the competitive side of DoD is really, really fun and interesting. And you just like to see how things progress from time to time. It's really, really cool. So just like with, CIS coming in fresh-faced in DoD and going on to win a championship, just like potentially seeing the bronze finalists from last season going on to be the silver finalists this season, and just like next season in gold, teams having to go gunning after NSA now as the big dogs in the pound. So everyone, KTP, thank you guys for watching, and yeah. I'll see y'all on Sunday. I actually am going to go play a DoD scrim in the next half hour too, which is weird. Why weren't we scrimming DoD when we were still in the playoffs? I don't know. Peace out.